time shot. It's time shot. I'm in the place where my friends are, and I know together we'll go far. Yeah, time shot. It's time shot. And I'm still doing things the time shot way.
Hello, people. It's Poet, and we are back on TimeShot, and welcome back to another comment jam. And oops, hold on, I gotta as I say that, I realized that I didn't have any of the comments actually up on the screen, so now I do, and hopefully it's still recording. I can't tell, but we'll do it twice if I have to. So let's get right to it, because we got a lot of comments to go through, and I don't like these episodes being like 50 minutes long if I can help it. So let's jump right to it, like I was saying. Okay, comment jam. Lauren Brown asked a question, and she asked, if there was one thing on YouTube you could change, what would it be and why? And I think that kind of question really affects me more as a creator than as like someone who watches YouTube. So I think it's funny that like that question would actually be better asked like someone else, like someone who watches YouTube more than I do, about what they would want to see changed or added or whatever. For me personally, it's really just a content creator side of things. So like I want more comment interaction ability, and I want more ability to manage my thumbnails and descriptions and end slates and things like that. And YouTube is getting better. I know that you guys have noticed the new end slates that I've been putting on my videos, the ends of the videos, with the you know, that whole dubstep thing. So I mean, features like that, I really appreciate them adding. They could definitely do better, and I know that they're trying, but it's taken years and years and years and years and years to do a lot of what they have wanted to do. And I kind of like, I remember it was 2013, so 3 years ago now, almost 4 years ago now, and I met with the director of partnerships for all of YouTube at Minecon in Orlando. And I know that my talking to him wasn't going to change anything or do anything, but I talked to him at that point about content ID claims and copyright claims and things like that, and how creators could deal with them and things. And the funny thing is that like they were aware of the problems. They knew about the problems that their site had, and they really just didn't have a solution. And although they could say often like, oh well, there is a solution in the works, it's taken like 3 or 4 years and it's still not really done. So I mean, is it them dragging their feet? Is it a money issue? Is it just them not knowing how to fix it? Or like, what is the issue here? I don't quite know. But it is an issue either way. Okay, so I'm going to be working on this again today. Hope you don't mind while I answer these questions that I work on something like this. But it's something kind of mindless, like mindless mining, that I can just kind of get away with without having to focus on too many things at once, because my brain just can't. So hope you guys don't mind that, honestly. So that hopefully answers that question. It's not a very detailed question. In fact, it was pretty easy for me to answer, because yeah, I just wish that there were more features for content creators out there. When they added the YouTube Studio app, if you're a content creator, if you make YouTube videos and you don't have the Studio app on your phone, get it. Like, that is one of the best features that they've ever added for people like me who make videos. And I hope that they continue to do more like that. I know that, like, often when you join a partnership network, and we've talked about that in the past, I'm not going to get into it, but when you join partnership networks, they often add dashboards and features like that where YouTube can't. So, you know, I think they're doing an all right job. And as far as, like, viewership goes, the one thing, if as a viewer, the one thing that I've always sort of wished that they could add is something that I first saw on, God, what site? I don't even remember what site it was now. But there was a site that I saw where, I know, like, on SoundCloud. So I'll use SoundCloud as an example because they do it too. People could leave comments, like, during the video or during the song, on SoundCloud's case. Leave a comment during the video at that specific time, and then, like, you could comment on what I just said, and then the comment would pop up on the screen and be like, you know, Lauren Brown says, oh, that was a really interesting thing you just said. You know, like, interaction during the video kind of, it influences people to comment more, and I really like that idea. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And then I gotta go like this. There we go. So the next one is from Not Harold. Well, if you're not Harold, who are you? They ask, or say, they ask, what do you think, I can read this. What do you think is one of the most memorable or most inaccurate restorations of a dinosaur? And I put this one on here because it interests me. I mean, I love, dinosaurs are a passion of mine. I think that's pretty obvious that that's a passion of mine. And honestly, what am I being spammed about? Oh, what? Stop. I'm recording. It's my fiance, by the way. She's spamming me. Hi. She was texting me. Okay, dinosaur thing. Dinosaurs are a passion of mine. They've always been a passion of mine. Because I don't know why they have been. They just have been. But the thing that's interested me the most is how little we know about dinosaurs. Like, we don't know, well, we didn't know that they had feathers just a few years ago. Do creatures like Triceratops have quills? There's some evidence to suggest that some of their species did. And, you know, now people are saying that, you know, dinosaurs don't sound like they do in Jurassic Park. They sound more like a goose honking or something like that. Or maybe a duck quacking, or, you know, like, there's just so little that we know about dinosaurs. And one of the things that you have to realize is that when it comes to the fossils, they're often very weathered, deteriorated, broken, missing, and so on. You can often see full skeletons, though, at a museum. And you might ask, well, how is that possible? You know, if they don't even have legs found for this creature, how come this one has legs? And you realize right away that, you know, they do their best. They do their best to try to figure out what it might look like. But often, you know, they'll put the arms of a T-Rex on, you know, something else, a similar theropod dinosaur, because they just don't have a better representation of it. So they'll figure out the weight and how much it might have had there, and then they put the arms to the best of their ability. And that creates things like the original Brontosaurus, you know, the original Brontosaurus, where they actually took the head of a Camarasaurus. And that's why, you know, when people found out, wait a minute, that's not its real head, You mean this other dinosaur, that's its actual head? Well, then, what the heck, man? What the heck? We can't call this a brontosaur anymore. It's just not, and then the apatosaur was born. That's generalizing it a lot, but, that's the kind of thing that happens where restorations happen, and all of a sudden they find out, well, wait a minute, these aren't what the arms actually looked like at all. They should be more narrow, or they should be more straight, or the claws were much longer. Things like that happen all the time. I remember, like, even back when I used to go to museums as a small child, the dinosaur skeletons, they were sitting up on their tails. The T-Rex was sitting on its tail. And nowadays they have that more Jurassic Park-like stance, So differences happen all the time. I love talking about it, though. And the thing I love talking about the most is, like, essentially just saying to people, like, you don't know all the answers. Because so many comments I get on my series and that I've seen in the past is people shouting fact. No, this one was bigger than this one. This one could have eaten this one because its teeth were sharper, and going on and on and on and on and on. But the truth of the matter is that we just don't know everything. And the more you realize that, the more dinosaur discovery and theory and all of that becomes so much more important and just generally cool. But anyway, that's that. So thanks for that one. Next one's from Zarek. And they say, I'm thinking about online gaming. I'm a console gamer. I just prefer playing on a console over a PC or a laptop. However, when you buy a console for 300-ish pounds, then a game 40 pounds, then internet access for your home. Whoops, I'm falling. I lost my spot when I fell. So I have internet, a console that can use internet, and a game with online features, and I have to pay again to put all of those things together. It just seems like a bit of a money grab, making people pay for things they've already paid for. And yes, welcome to console gaming. That is something that I realized at a very young age, honestly. I used to be a console gamer. I know it sounds funny, but, back when I was a kid, computers just did not exist. They were around to some extent, but, like, PC games were very, very, very limited. PCs that could run games were very limited. So everyone had a Sega and everyone had a Nintendo. And then everybody got a PlayStation, and that's just how it was, because computers kind of lacked in the games department and how they could play them. And since then, it's changed, obviously, a ton. But I think that, that was something that everybody complained about and realized very early on, was that, wait a minute, I have to pay how much for this game? And wait, the game is the whole console is obsolete tomorrow. Like, that sucks, So yeah, people realized that, I think, really early on. Like, I remember when the PlayStation came out and everybody ran and jumped to get one, and my family did get one for Christmas that year, and so I was one of the lucky few that had a PlayStation. And it wasn't that long after that PlayStation 2 came out, and all of a sudden, all these games that I had spent hundreds of dollars on, and peripherals, the controllers, the rumble packs, and, so on and so forth for all that kind of stuff, it was useless. It was garbage. Nobody wanted to play that anymore. And you had to upgrade to a PlayStation 2 if you wanted any of the new games. And that was another, like you put it, 300-ish pounds, and it's not fair. So, yeah, it's just something that I realized very early on. was going to be an issue. Oh God, I don't have feather falling. I almost died. It was something that I realized was an issue right early on, and that's one of the big reasons why I started to go focusing more on PC games, especially when games like Counter-Strike and Half-Life and Unreal Tournament and all those FPS games and stuff that were super popular came out. Like, I could just have my same old computer for years and 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 still play all of the latest, newest games. And, you know, some of the new games that are coming out these days for PC are super dirt cheap, especially the indie ones that currently, you know, consoles lack a lot. You know, finding an indie console game, very rare. But that's sort of one of the biggest things, was that I didn't want to spend money on obsolescence. Now I've had people ask me all the time, what computer do you have? I have a potato. I'm telling you honestly, I have a baked potato. That is what I play everything on. It is seriously the oldest, most obsolete-ish computer you can get. It's 10 years old now, you know, and I see people like, it's MK is the funniest, you know, huge love and respect for her, but like, she gets a new computer every week, and I just laugh about it, because I mean, I've had this same computer for like 10 years now, and it can still play Arc on full settings, and it can still play, you know, when the Division came out, it could play that on its fullest settings, and you know, it's not struggling really, and I can still record on it at the same time. I mean, PCs have gotten to the point where you don't need to upgrade them. And to be honest with you, consoles don't really either, but they build in that sort of obsolescence, you know, limiting factors that you get from the lack of ability to upgrade things like a graphics card. So that's why I prefer PC games to console games. I feel your pain. I mean, that's, like I said, that's why I don't do console gaming anymore. So, you know, what else can I really say about it, except that, yeah, that's, you're right. That is the case. And that's why I think, you know, PC games are stronger than ever right now. It kind of irritates me when a developer creates a game exclusive to Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, because they are doing that in partnership with the peripheral manufacturers and the manufacturers for the PlayStations and Xboxes, is incentive to have you pay for all these extra things that you don't need. Nintendo has latched onto that big time with their Wii U's and different motion controllers and things of that nature. So, you know, just buyer beware when you get those things. You gotta expect that, you know, the reason that you are buying those is, yeah, cash grab, money grab. That is entirely it. It's not to make your experience better. My 10-year-old computer can have a great experience. You are not buying hardware to make anything better. So just as long as you're aware of that and you still want to do it, that's perfectly fine. But anyway, that's that one. Next up is from Vanilla Donut. I don't remember how many episodes there was on season 2 of Pixelmon, but you need to re-upload. But do you need to re-upload the video after you edited out the intro? I don't know if you even know, but you can trim your videos on YouTube. And yes, that's exactly what I have been doing. I am using the trim feature on YouTube. And for those of you out there who are not YouTubers, aren't content creators, YouTube has this feature where you can actually edit videos that you post. You can make clips. It's mostly what it's for. Making clips like spotlights, or like you could put together a clip show of like your funniest moments of a series or something. That's mostly what it's for. But I used it to edit out the intros for my Pixelmon series. Because as we've said before, and I still get the question all the time, why have I privated all my Pixelmon videos? And I privated them as protection, because I don't want trademark issues to come up in the future. I do not want that. Nobody wants that. My network has told me, do not do this. You are not allowed to do this. And so I won't. You know, I want to behave. I want to be a good YouTuber, and I cannot say it's a Pokemon in Minecraft when it's not an official Pokemon game. Simple as that. So I can edit out those intros that have that title in them, right? No. There is a limitation on YouTube, which I am so annoyed by, and I'm so glad that you brought it up so that I could rant about it, because the limitation is 100,000 views. If a video has more than 100,000 views, you cannot edit any parts of it out at all. Period. You have to re-upload it. Now, the reason that they do that, I get it. I understand. It's to prevent fraud. It's to prevent people posting Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball video and getting 100,000 views on a video and then editing it out and saying, what's the problem, YouTube? You can't copyright claim me. There's nothing here. Nothing to see here. So, I mean, they do that to protect copyrights. I get it. I do. But and technically, I mean, that could be on my video itself is one of the bad ones where I used the word Pokemon when I shouldn't have, and maybe that gave it more views than it should have gotten as Pixelmon, you know? Like, that is a legit concern that YouTube has, and rightfully they should. So, as my sort of punishment, I had to re-upload all of the original series, and I would have to re-upload most of the first few episodes of Season 2. And so I thought to myself, you know, I could go and re-upload the first few episodes of Season 2 and then just, you know, point people in the direction of the other episodes. But it's just easier for me if I were to re-upload the whole shebang. And then when it came to that, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that for Season 2. There's like Season 2? About almost 100 episodes, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was in the 90s, like 97, I think, was the last episode of that. So either I re-upload 97 episodes, or I just keep the whole thing down. And that's sort of what I chose to do at this point. And it's really because of episode 1 or 2 or 3 or something. And that's that. I could go and just rename every single episode. Take out episodes 1 and 2 and then rename every single episode accordingly. And maybe I could do that. We'll see. But that's going to be a lot of work. I don't have a huge abundance of time right now. So editing 97 videos again is not really a desirable thing. So that's that question, question. It was. So thank you for it, because it let me rant about that a little bit, and hopefully explain it to. Hopefully that satisfies your inquiry. Next one is from Dedrick Jackson. Dedrick, I guess it would be, not Dedrick. Why would I even say Dedrick? Dedrick Jackson. And they say, our whole lives is decided by high school. The people and connections that we make at this time will make or break the rest of our lives. Please do not say that problems in high school are trifle. And this came up in the episode I did about depression, and I didn't include a ton of amazing comments on that video into this one. I could have gone on and on and on and on and on. Instead, I just want to point you guys, go again to TimeShot episode 29. and read some of the amazing comments that were left there by a lot of people. A lot of them are very inspiring, letting people know that they're not alone, and just generally positive comments, really good ones. Thank you all for putting them out there. I did get this comment, and it was about a comment I made about how I said, essentially to break it down, I said kind of like, people think that high school is so important right now, and if you're in high school, or school in general, and that it matters so much what people there think about you and how you act and what you do and all that. But maybe that's true for one. I don't know. I don't know if it's true for anybody, honestly. But having lived it, I've been to high school. I'm not in high school anymore. I'm not even in university anymore. I haven't been in university for years. I'm old. I've been there. I know what it's like. And I know that for as much as I stressed about what people thought about me and how I acted around people there and about how I developed myself as a person, yes, that's important. Obviously, that's important. You know, developing who you are is a thing that happens throughout your life, not just high school, but all of the time. It's important, yes, but it is trivial. It is a trivial thing. It's not something to worry about. You know, we define who we are throughout our lives. You know, what someone thought about me almost 20 years ago, who cares? I have changed so much since high school. My outlook on life has changed. My professional way of thinking has changed. My knowledge about everything has changed. The way that I talk to people and the connections that I made then are different and have changed. Did it define who I was back then? Yes. But does it define who I am now? No. And that's why I have to reiterate that no, it's not as important as someone in high school might think that it is. And I assume by the comment that you are still in high school, or maybe just fresh out of high school. You know, it doesn't limit the jobs that you have going into the future. I mean, sure, high school is important to get that one job you want, where you have to do the steps of going to high school, doing well, getting accepted into a university, doing well, getting accepted to a job position you love, and doing well, if that's what you want to do. But even if you haven't done that well, there are programs out there, GEDs and development resources that help people even into their 40s and 50s go back to school, learn, do well, and educate themselves in a way that would benefit their lives in a job, if that's what you're really worried about, like professional career. I went to university, and in one of my astrophysics classes, I was sitting beside a guy who was 85 years old, and he was going to class just like me. I was only maybe 18, 19, and here he was, this 85-year-old, taking the same classes as me. Why? Because he wanted to learn. He wanted to know more about it. It was his passion. It was his interest. He was retired. He had nothing better to do, and he wanted to do it. That's not saying that, you know, when he was in high school or something that he didn't develop himself well there, but it wasn't as though it was all over for him if he didn't do that, you know? He was 85 and still developing himself in education. You know, I was more talking, though, about like personal relationships and stuff. Do you want to know, honestly, how many people from my high school I still talk to? 0. 0 people. I don't even remember the names of some of my best friends from high school. It's not that they didn't matter at that time. It's that I've grown, I've developed differently, And I have new friends in my life, new connections. And they are more important to me now, the present, than those connections of the past are. And I think rightfully so. So, I don't know. Like, my comment still remains the same. I think that people worry too much about the little things, like, you know, high school and how they're liked there, or any kind of school and how they're liked there, and, you know, even jobs. You know, am I liked at my job? Do my coworkers like me? You know, don't worry about it. You know, it's, oh man, I'm doing this wrong. I'm wasting all my quartz. Yeah, I think that people are always in a state of change. And if you hold one period of your life, one moment of your life to a much higher regard than any other, it's setting you up for failure. You know, anxiety, stress, all of those things come into play when you feel pressured into doing something that's unobtainable. So, I mean, that's my take on it. Obviously, yours is different. But that's, like I said, that's my take on it. And hopefully it makes some sense. Because I've lived there. I've done it. I've lived it. I know what it's like after high school. You will survive. Even if you never, ever talk to those people ever again, or use any of the knowledge or skills you developed there, you will be fine. You know? Look at me. I mean, I have 2 degrees and post-secondary. 2. I was actually studying for a 3rd. And do I do anything that revolves around any of that for a living? I am doing YouTube videos. It's my passion. It's what I want to do. So, you know, was it not important? In a very small way. You know, I don't regret going to school or doing all those things or developing any of those connections, but they're not that important to me right now. So that's my take on it, is that you shouldn't be limited in your thinking. You will change and things will change around you. And that's just how things work. Next one is from Queen Nekoyasha, and they say, the reason why you watch sad movies is similar to why I like to read sad books. One of my favorite series of sad books was A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket's. I read them throughout high school, back when I became aware that I had depression, and they would cheer me up somehow. I thought it was because it reminded me that my life could be much worse. But from what you said, I think it was also a form of release. Yeah, definitely. They did write more. Their comment was longer. Definitely worth a read if you go to episode 29. Like I said, with all of them. But yeah, I definitely think that there is some realization there too. Like when you realize that, you know what, other people do have it harder than me. There is some sort of sense of relief in that. You know, why am I complaining that I don't have an Xbox and I'm so upset about it? You know, when there's people out there who don't have food. You know, that's always been something my grandmother instilled in me. She was very stern in that way of thinking, where, you know, if we complained about anything, she would try to remind us about how difficult it was for her growing up, you know, where they literally had nothing and had to make do with it. And here we are complaining, whiny, spoiled children, about the things that we don't have and being upset about it, even so far as to be depressed about it. When, you know, hardships have befallen people throughout history much worse than you have it. So, you know, it's just one of those things where it's difficult to be upset with something when you know of someone who has it worse. So maybe there is something to be said about, helping those people, being positive role models to those people. Maybe engulfing yourself with others who are having periods of hardship will help you yourself get through those hardships. I don't know. Maybe, if you are suffering from depression, maybe helping others who suffer from depression will help you find some relief in that sense. In that, yeah, maybe there are people out there who have it worse than I do. And maybe I don't have so much to feel bad about in my day-to-day life. Obviously that's not a cure for depression, but if anything can give you any kind of positivity, even if it's to frown upon others, maybe that's a good thing in some weird, odd, backwards way, I don't know. I really don't know enough about that to comment on it anymore. So that is what it is. It's a weird one though, because I don't want to encourage people to frown upon others and, I have it so much better than you, so now I feel better. That's obviously bad, but at the same time, you know what? If you are feeling really depressed to the point of having suicidal thoughts and maybe looking at other people who are worse off than you makes you feel better, whatever it takes, honestly. It sounds selfish, but you got to think about yourself too. So that's the comment I'll make about it. I'm probably wrong in thinking that, but so sue me, The next one, it's actually technically the last one, is from episode 32, jumping ahead here. It was the mindless mining, and we were talking about dogs and stuff, and this one came from that one odd girl. My guinea pig farted once. And I love how TimeShot in general, our whole community, can bring out that kind of comment from people. It just shows how... It shows, I don't know, this sense of comfortability or I don't know. What does it show? It's funny. It's meaningless. And I don't know. I just love this community. What can I say? And then wanted to just briefly touch upon my sore loser video. Surprisingly did not get almost any comments about the actual topic itself, where we were talking about being a gracious winner and being a gracious winner. I'm stuttering and stumbling. Being a gracious loser and winner, all the same. Being both of those things. I wanted to definitely talk about that more, but most people honed in on the fact that I did make a new intro. I cannot take credit, of course, for the piano playing in the background, but I do take full credit for my voice. And yes, that is only my voice. That is me singing. That is me doing all the harmonic parts. It's not really a harmony, but it's just overlapping myself. And I don't know. I feel like when I listen to it, I am my own worst critic, as they say. I feel like I could have done better. There are still a lot of moments where I hear that my voice is a little bit out of sync with the beat of the music, and that was very, 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 very apparent with the first season 2 intro, where I started singing and it seemed like my voice was out of sync with the music, and I think that's why people didn't like it very much. But what happens, to get a little bit technical on you guys, is when I play the song and I hit record and I start singing, when I throw it into Premiere, it puts it out of sync by as much as 5 to 11 microseconds. 5 to 11 microseconds. And that alone is enough to pull it way, 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 way out of sync. So, I did my best to listen again and again and again and re-record it probably 50 times more. I don't know. I re-recorded that one so much. And yet I still listen to it now. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am my own worst critic, like I said, but like seriously, like I could listen to that 100 more times and I hear the sync issues. I hear that I could have been on time with the music a little bit better. And I could have finessed it more. And so, you know, everybody's like, "Oh, this is so amazing. It's so great." And I want to thank you guys for those words of encouragement. I'm glad that you guys like the new intro. But I listen to it and I feel like, "Oh god, there's just so why? 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 Just why? Why? 18 deaths. Why?" Oh god. I need arrows. I need arrows so bad. I'm going to go get arrows before I go back into the nether, grab my stuff. Oh, I hope it didn't fall in that fire. I would be upset, honestly. The armor is what I'd be upset about. The pick and stuff I can get for fairly cheap from Edson's enchanting stuff, so. But the armor, man. There we go. Let's go take care of some blaze. But anyway, yeah, everybody was very positive about the new intro so far. I don't see any comments that said the old one was better, which I did see a lot of with the season 2 first intro. Wynn, however, did say she still liked the old TimeShot intro better, which, as some of you know, was the old Red Cubed season 2 intro. And that's fair play. I think that it still had room for improvement, but there won't be any. I deleted the originals. It was taking up too much space, all the audio files and stuff, so I deleted them. I know it sounds stupid. Like, if I ever wanted to retune it or remake it or remix it or re-sing it or whatever, it'd be close to impossible. But I kind of wanted it to be like that. I wanted it to be a one-off thing, to more or less force me to rethink things and replan things in the future if I wanted to redo it. But yeah, that's sort of oh, please do not pick up anything, you guys. If I see a single pigman with a sword or a piece of armor of mine. Did I get everything? I don't know if anything got lost. Sword, pick, shovel, all my armor, a couple power 2 bows. Alright. I think I got everything. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's kind of end the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Like this video, comment below, and do all those other awesome things you people do. I am going to be definitely thinking that about my work always. Like, nothing people could say to say, you know, "Oh, this is so good, sell it on iTunes," is going to make me think that I couldn't have done a better job on it. That's just my personal opinion, but I do thank you all for your words of encouragement, like I said. And yeah, that's where I wanted to end the comment jam. Be sure to keep your eyes open for TimeShot episodes where I will be both answering questions and replying to the comments that I feel deserve attention in some way, or personally interest me. So, like I said, thanks for watching. We'll be seeing you guys next time on TimeShot. Bye-bye.